Hello everyone and welcome back to MVP Baseball 2005. We're here in the month of August. We've went through most of the month to get to this Dodgers series. I went back and forth about which series I wanted to spotlight for the month of August. And I asked my brother, and he was like, yeah, I think Dodgers probably better. So I agree with him. I think a series in Dodger Stadium would be cool, because I think it's the only series we've played. No, I think we played the Dodgers earlier in the year. I don't know if we played them in L.A. No, it's our second series, I think. I'd have to go back through, but I believe we've played in LA multiple times, maybe this year. So either way, we are going to get into this one. Not a whole lot would happen in this game. We're going up against Ishii, of course, the Dodger starter. And they also have Jeff Kent. I want to point that out at first base. They have Jeff Kent. So I don't think we've pointed that out yet, but they have Jeff Kent. So but not a whole lot is going to happen in this game up until towards the middle here. We have Endy Chavez with one out already here in the top of the third with a man on second, and Endy's going to get a hold of this one and send it out to the bullpens. And so that is going to be a 391-foot towering home run sent right into the pen, just perfectly deposited into the bucket here, inside zone. Just kind of pulled it, man. Just pulled it down the line and sent that one over the fence. So we're going to take a 2-run lead over the Dodgers. Now we have Henry Mateo here. He's kind of a bench bat on third base here. He's in an 0-2 count with one out here in the top of the fourth, and he's going to get a hold of this one and bloop it into center field here. It's just going to get down here a little bit longer. That might have been a chance for a pop fly here, but and then Sun Woo Kim, our starter for the game here, is in a 3-1 count, and he's going to get a walk. He's going to draw the walk as that 87-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball misses outside the zone. It was a good take by Sun Woo Kim. I think any other pitcher probably would have just swung at that, but Endy Chavez back up to bat here now with the home run earlier in the game here with two men aboard, and this pitch is not going to be fielded as the catcher misses this one. I think it's Navarro who misses it, and that's going to advance both runners. And on the very next pitch, that slider just misses the top corner, and so Endy Chavez is going to take his base, and now the Dodgers have the bases loaded here with Jose Vidro. Pretty big bat that you don't want bases loaded against here with two outs in the top of the fourth. Now it's going to sail over the second baseman's head. I think he maybe could have made a play on that ball here, but hold on. Both lead runners advance, and Navarro's going to go to third, and the throw back to home is off of the mark, and so the lead runner is able to score. They probably had two of our guys dead to rights. It could have got us both in a pickle here, but Sun Woo Kim was able to read that one kind of perfectly and was able to get home safely. So the Dodgers give up another run. Probably not going to get charged for an error on that. But that was certainly erroneous here. But the Dodgers now with runners at second and third get a humongous double in the gap here, and that's going to clear the bases. So Navarro, who had, I don't know if it was necessarily his fault that run scored in the previous inning, but certainly he maybe contributed, but now he gets 2 runs here for the Dodgers, and now Jeff Kent up aboard here, and he's going to line this one down the left field line, and that one's just going to sneak inside the foul pole. That one's just going to get inside there, 382 feet into the corner, man. That one snuck in there, like just ever so slightly snuck in there. And so the Dodgers are going to now even up this game here in the middle of the game here in about the 4th or 5th inning. I mean, it was a nice hit. I love watching those home runs that just kind of hug the line here, just barely get around the foul pole. I mean, those to me are more impressive than like dead center, like 450 dead center. You know what I mean? Those are far more important than that. So, So we have Jose Guillen now later in this game here in the top of the 8th in a 4-4 tie, and Jose Guillen is going to send this one the opposite way, and it's trending foul, and it hits off the pole, and that one is going to be out. Wrap your finger around, wave it around, because that is a home run. It's going to hit right off of the foul pole, and we're going to get to see this off of the replay as this one just sails down the right field line, and it was trending foul. It was like, is it going to stay? Is it going to stay? And then it bounces right off of that pole, just about goes back into the bullpen, and so that is going to give us a 1-run lead here, and now the Dodgers have one of their rookies up to bat who's 3 for 4 in this game, but with 2 outs. He's going to try and maybe start a rally here in the bottom of the 9th. He swings at that first pitch and misses, and on the second pitch, he bloops this one up into foul territory. Ivan Vukarina is now tracking it down, and he gets it in foul territory. So that is going to end the game for the Dodgers. We've managed to take game 1 of this series. And now we're going to look ahead to the rest of the month of August here, and hopefully we can continue the pace that we are on against the Dodgers and win the series. All right, everybody, welcome back into the Hub World, the calendar screen, our famous, coveted calendar screen here in MVP Baseball 2005. We are here now in the month of August, at the end of the month of August, coming out of the first game of this Dodgers series that we did end up winning. We would go on to, you just watch, but we would go on to win the next two games as well, take 3 of 4 from the Dodgers. So that was a huge series out in LA for us. Came up big, came up good. Overall, the whole month was pretty good. Another 16-win month. That means if you're paying attention from last month to this month, we are now 32-23 in our last 2 months. So that is a humongous improvement from where we were in the first few months of the year. We even had a losing month in June. We're 500 in May, and then a game below in April. So we've had 2 back-to-back over 500 months of good baseball. So most of the stats that we're going to look at are just about the same as well from last month's numbers. There are some differences that we will talk about, and I guess what I've been doing for the last couple months, in video terms, that we've a format I've kind of been following is just kind of talking about the points, the high points or low points, I guess, for the month, just kind of what I noticed from managing the games. So the good, I guess, is we just kind of stabilized. So the month got off to a really terrible start, as you can see. We gave up. What is this? What is this quick math? Anyone? It's 32, isn't it? 32. We gave up 32 runs in back-to-back games and only scored 9. So that's pretty bad in a 2-game stretch. It's just sometimes the game does that to you. Just the opposing offense, you can't do anything about it. They just whoever you throw out there, it does not matter. They just give up 3 runs at the minimum. The box score for some of these games were absolutely insane. Believe me. And then this Diamondback series, we got swept by the Diamondbacks, which just a tough one, a tough pill to swallow. Two of these games weren't even competitive, so it was rough to start the month. Starting pitching was a complete, just utter failure. The bullpen was struggling as well, and then we just kind of stabilized. We ended up taking 3 of 4 from the Rockies. We won the series against the Giants. Took 2 of 3 from the Padres, and then took 3 of 4 from the Dodgers that we just talked about. And then the Astros finally came back and humbled us once again. We did win that series at the beginning of the month, but they would take 2 of 3 here at the end of the month, and then we would finish things off by getting our revenge on the Diamondbacks, who swept us, and now we took 2 of 3 from them. So that is how the month kind of played out at a glance, with only 3 off days. So it was a tough month. So for us to come out 16-12 on top of this rigorous schedule here, we had 3 off days last month as well. So I don't know, man. I guess when we have less time off, because look at all these other off days. When we have less time off, I guess we're just a better team, just building the momentum, I guess it's kind of like the argument that people make with the new format, the new playoff format in the MLB with the automatic bye. Everyone's like, oh man, everyone's cold by the time they get into the series. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. So, but we did have a decent month. The bad thing, of course, is the pitching, and I was just going to get on here. I had already thought of the title and everything. I was just going to get on here and rant for like 10 minutes about how bad the pitching was. But like I said, everything kind of stabilized, so I can't be too mad. A lot of the guys who have been good stayed good, and the guys who have been bad were pretty bad. Really, everyone just kind of stayed the same. I guess that's really the thing. We kept the same pace. We didn't play a whole lot better. We didn't play terribly worse either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure if I went by series, we probably won the same amount of series in August as we did in July, give or take a game or a series. So it was about the same, which is good because, we were over 500 at the end of July. So to keep the same pace, we're still in a good spot. If we keep that pace through September, especially since most of these games in September are division games, the playoff picture could be completely flipped. And I don't even want to talk about playoffs, but we will look at the standings. Just keep that in the back of your head. So let us go now to actually the third thing that we will talk about, if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. So the third thing we'll talk about is the disabled list, and there you see the big blow. Andy Chavez is out for the rest of the season. He tore his rotator cuff, so he's out for the remainder of our season. So this is a humongous blow to the offense. Obviously, Andy Chavez, I don't think was having like a crazy month. He was playing about as well. He had a few acts of heroism. He had, I'm pretty sure he had a home run in that Dodgers game that we just watched. And so for him now to be injured for the rest of the season, he got injured in like the last series, literally the last 3 or 4 games of the month is when he got injured. So yeah, this injury is fresh. We also lost our trade piece. I forget his name, Bennett, I think was the reliever that we traded for. He got injured towards the beginning of the month and missed like 15 days. He missed like half the month, but he did come back and he's been good ever since. We will look at, and then we also lost. Luis Ayala got injured again, and he missed a chunk of the month as well. But he is now back and healthy as well. Also, I noticed because minor leaguers get injured all the time. But I did notice one of the names specifically, Craig Ishii, our 5th round pick. He is also injured. I think we can see that if we look. Yeah, Craig Ishii is also now injured. It looks like he might miss the remainder of the Double-A season, probably. I would imagine so. So that's probably going to be it for his season. But yeah, that is another big blow, I guess, maybe to his development. He might come back better than ever next year. Who knows? But we will now look at our batting order and talk about how the team did. So Christian Guzman, his numbers compared to last month, they're up a little bit, just a tiny bit. He didn't play a heck of a lot more than he's been playing. Remember I said in the last month that we've been using him, I mean really for the last couple months that we've been using him as just like a platoon bench bat kind of guy, or like a pinch hit kind of guy, and it's kind of still what we're doing here. He's got the speed to where if we get on the base paths, then we can kind of not guarantee, but I mean we have a good chance of stealing another bag. So using him to pinch hit is kind of important in those close games late. So, but that is really all there is to say about Christian Guzman. And then this is the big shock here. So with Endy Chavez now gone, that cleared up room for our center fielder in New Orleans, J.D. Corey, to get called up. So I even had a little message in the message center for this game that was like, should we call him up? And he was doing really well in New Orleans, so I was trying to figure out a way to get him up here. He was still kind of getting blocked, and then Endy Chavez got injured, so J.D. Corey is now here. He hasn't done well in the first few games, but it's literally been like 3 or 4 games, I promise you, so I think he will be fine. Jose Guillen had a pretty solid month. His average is up, I think, about 10 points. He hit maybe 4 or 5 more home runs. And the slug is still, in a great spot. So Jose Guillen is not someone we are worried about. He's towards the top of the order now with injuries and stuff, and people slumping, and he's doing fine with that. So you should not worry about Jose Guillen, because I am not. Matt Holliday had a slight regression. He had a tough month, so I moved him down a little bit. The average just seems to be kind of getting a little bit lower, trending lower. He is hitting some home runs. If he hits 20 home runs, I'd say that's still a good season for Matt Holliday. The OPS is still decent, so nowhere near the point where we're thinking about having to move him out. Maybe if Endy Chavez was still healthy, it'd be on the table, but with Endy Chavez out, Matt Holliday's probably just going to play either at first or left for the rest of the season, so that's just how it is. Jose Vidro, a little lower. I think his average was at 300 exactly last month, and now it's at 298. I think he hit a couple more home runs as well, but there's not a humongous change in his production from last month. He's still hitting decently well. Vinny Castilla, on the other hand, his numbers are down a little bit. His average is down a little. He was at 18 or 19 home runs in July. Now he's hit that 20 mark, which I was hoping he would do in the last video, or in the July video I was hoping he would do, and he has done it. So we have another 20 home run hitter on this team. I think there's only 2. I think it's him and Jose Guillen. I think everyone else is in the teens somewhere. So like Matt Holliday at 18. So I'm sure we'll probably have at least 3, maybe 4. 4 is a long shot, but maybe 3 for sure. So how's that for power? Because the power was not here at the beginning of the year, I will tell you that. Terminal Sledge played a little bit more. He played consistently more because of all the back-to-back series and stuff, and his numbers have went down. I mean, just came back down to earth, because I think he had an average over 350 for most of the season, just being strictly a pinch hitter, pretty much. But now that he's kind of consistently playing in the outfield, I've been moving him around a lot with rest days and stuff for Guillen, Holliday, and Chavez. And his numbers are still pretty good for the limited sample, but he is playing a little bit more, so the numbers aren't what they were, but I think they're still fine. So Ivan Vukarina, another good month for him, man, hitting over 280, which is good to see. You love to see it. OPS in the 780s, so yeah, a decent for him. I would say he's kind of starting to figure it out, at least hitting pretty consistently. I don't need him to have the numbers like some of the other big guys in our lineup, like Jose Guillen. Just keep hitting this well, hit your weight in this kind of offense, hit timely, and we will be fine. You will have a role on this team at first base, that is for sure. And then Brian Schneider has a pretty decent month. I think his numbers are just a little bit higher. But he's the catcher. I don't really focus on him, but just important to point out that you have a catcher that can mash, and we definitely have one. So that is cool. Gary Bennett, I think, even has a slightly better month here. His numbers are still about where they were last month, but I think the OPS is now finally over 700. Is it 701? I think it's 701. Just doing the quick math in my head, I think it's 701. So he just barely got it over there. But hey, man, if that's fine, if that's where it stays, I'm not too worried about it. So West King's season or month rather, excuse me. Is about the same as well. I think he was hitting 297 last month, and he's still hitting 297. The OBP or slug might be down a couple points, but he's still been a good everyday piece in the middle infield. So he's definitely still starting over Christian Guzman. So even though the numbers aren't completely far off at this point, but Wes King has still just been a good, consistent, everyday guy. There is a part of me that just wants to play Christian Guzman now just to see really what there is because of the money thing. And as I keep mentioning, he's making the most money. So, I have to play him at some point. But I'm prioritizing wins right now, and Wes King is helping us win, so that's what we're doing. And then Jorge Mateo, his numbers are the same. He didn't really get super active on the field this month. He's really just kind of been used as the utility, which is a secondary position. So I've been swapping out Vinny Castilla for him, Jose Vidro for him, and that's kind of just been his role. He's just been doing that, so, and he's doing fine with that, so we're going to leave him to it. Now we're going to go to pitching, and pitching isn't as big. So Seth Riesinger had a rough start to the month, but again, like I was saying, the theme for this month is everything stabilized, and we kind of just kept the same pace. So his ERA last month was a 4.09. It's now a 4.10. That means, you know what I mean? Like that's it doesn't get much more stable than that. He's finally hit 100 strikeouts. He's had, I think, 30 strikeouts this month. Yeah. 30 or 40. I keep having to do quick math, bro, okay? Just laugh at me later. But he finally hit 100 strikeouts. He had 83 strikeouts last month, so that is the jump. Tony Armas Jr., his ERA, I think, climbed like 0.2 of a run, I think. I think he was in the 450s last month, and now he's at 478. His month was kind of all over the place as well. He still hasn't hit 100 strikeouts. I think everyone in the rotation, yeah, everyone has. He's the only starter in our rotation who has hit 100 strikeouts this season so far, and I think his usage inning-wise might be among... No, he's got the least amount of innings, so I guess we will cut him some slack, because he's very close. He's at 92, and he will probably hit it, so... Casey Fossum has been awful this month. He is, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, he had a couple pretty bad starts that have kind of impacted his numbers. I think his ERA was in like the 5.0 something, like 5.08 or something like that, I think. And now it's a 5.20. So it's, yeah, there was 2 starts I can remember for certain where I had to pull the starter within the first 2 innings because of a grand slam. And I think Casey Fossum was one of those starters. So, yeah, unfortunate for sure. But, it is what it is. John Patterson has just been kind of consistent as well. His ERA is about where it was last month. Might be up maybe a handful of points, maybe. I think it was in the high 520s. Now it's at 533, but he's hit the 100 strikeout mark. So is Casey Fossum, so cannot be super upset. And then Sungwoo Kim's ERA is also up probably like 2 or 3 tenths of a run. I think he was in the 460s. Now he's at 486. So everyone pitched a little bit worse. Like it's trending downward is the thing, but we were still able to get at it. The only thing to really talk about that's a drastic change is the bullpen, because John Rauch was awful. Good Lord, was this man awful. He was bad. I think he had like 2, well, in the beginning of the month, those 2 blowout games that we had, he was on the mound for like both of them. So yeah, he owns a lot of that, and yeah, an ERA over 5 now. I think it was still under 4 last we checked, and now it's comfortably over 5, so not great. CC Sabathia's ERA continues to trend downward, which is good. He's been used as kind of an emergency starter, or like in the opener situation, like I said last month. That's where we'll throw a starter out if they get blown up, then CC Sabathia just ends up pitching pretty much the rest of the game, honestly. Yeah, he's been doing pretty good in that role. The ERA is down almost a whole run, so He's almost got 100 strikeouts himself. Considering all the things that we talked about, he's got almost 100 strikeouts. He's got more strikeouts than Tony Armas Jr. does. You know what I mean? And CC Sabathia has hardly been a starter for us this year. He's barely how many innings compared? 102? Yeah, I think he still has more than Tony Armas. No, he doesn't. He's got 30 less innings, and he's got 4 more strikeouts. So that is big. That is big. Big comparison. Just keep that in perspective. Maybe CC Sabathia, it's time to head back to the rotation, maybe. Put him in. Who knows? Who knows? We might look at it. Claudio Vargas, I think, was a little better. I just went back and tracked all the stats, but I've forgotten some of them. But most of these guys were not, like, super good, like, really weren't that great. Chad Cordero, he threw a handful of innings this month and got his ERA down, like another run and a half or something like that. I think he was over 6, and now he's just barely under 5, so he had a decent handful of months. And then Jeff Bennett is our trade acquisition. He's thrown 9 innings this month, and he's only allowed 1 run, so good for him. He's I've been using him as kind of like a trade-off setup piece with Luis Ayala. Like if it's high leverage in like the 7th or 8th, I'll throw in Jeff Bennett and have him throw an inning or 2, and then we'll go to Luis Ayala to try and close it out, or Urbina to try and close it out. So Luis Ayala, even with the injury, still had a good month here. Numbers are about where we expected them to be. Not a ton of change. Same with Urbina, man. Not a whole lot of change here. Just good production from these guys. It's really the top end here of our bullpen that was kind of struggling. And if you're noticing some missing names like TJ Tucker, he got sent down to New Orleans to make room for JD Corey, because even with the Chavez injury, for some reason we didn't have space. At least that's what the game was telling me. And then Corcoran, we moved down to New Orleans. I'm pretty sure in the trade video, the last one that was posted, I think he got moved down to make room around there. So that's where he is. So that's the bullpen that we're running now, if you can see. So the only thing left to do now is, of course, we're going to look at the standings. Yeah, we're going to look at the standings. Okay, so... Okay, so in the NL East, all right, so the Phillies are at the top at 80-54. Goodness gracious, leading the division by about a handful of games here, and the Marlins and Braves seem to be duking it out amongst themselves here by just about a few games, and then we are right behind the Braves by another few games or so, 2.5 really, yeah. And then you can see in the wildcard race, it is just our division. The NL East is completely loading the wildcard race here. It's all 3 of us. So except for the Mets, because the Mets are bad this year. So just don't pay attention to the Mets. But yeah, we are 5.5 games out of the wildcard spot. There's only 1 wildcard to get, so we basically have to beat out the Marlins. So that's not like a insurmountable task. We have 2 series this month, or in September, against the Marlins. So I mean, dude, those are going to be massive. That's for sure where we're going to spotlight next month is one of those Marlins series. Maybe at home, or maybe at Pro Player Stadium, because it's gross that they ever played baseball there. But anyway, getting off topic here. That's just the playoff thing. In the AL West here, the Rangers have actually kind of separated themselves from the pack quite a bit. And they have a respectable record. They're about 20 games over 500. They got about a 5-game lead over the A's. And the Angels and Mariners aren't super out of it. They're around 500, but they got a long way to go here. So the A's are holding on to that wild card spot in the American League. So, or in the race of the wild card. So the wild card is going to the Yankees currently. So in the Central, the Twins are also stabilizing here. They got about 15 games over 500, close to that, close to 15. It's more like 12 or 13. And then the Indians are behind them. Yeah, it's just a bad year for the Central, man. No one in the Central is really competing. The defending World Series champs, the Tigers, are also slipping pretty hard this year. Yeah, things are not going well in the Central, in the AL Comedy Central. And then the AL East here, the Red Sox, I think probably have the best record in the majors. We still have to look at the NL West and Central, but because I think, what was it, the Cardinals were really good that we saw last month. But yeah, I think the Red Sox got to be throwing their hat in for the best record in the majors at 84-51. The Yankees are good 11.5 games behind, man. Jeez Louise, the Red Sox, you might as well just give them the division now. The AL East title is essentially theirs. And then the Orioles are really the only other team that's kind of making it interesting. I guess the Blue Jays are here on the wild card race as well. So the AL East is kind of playing out like the NL East. You know what I mean? You have the top team that's kind of got a good cushion, and then the next three teams are all pretty much in the mix for the wild card. Except in the American League, it's a much tighter race. And the Devil Rays are the Devil Rays. So in the NL West, the Dodgers are 70 and 63. Just remember that when you remember that we took 3 or 4 games from them this month. I'm just gonna, feels good. And the Padres are directly behind them at 68 and 65. So it's going to be another battle between the Dodgers and the Padres, which is crazy because I think with how the season started, I think as early as like May or June, that was not the case, right? Like the NL West looked completely different. So now it is kind of stabilizing to where the Dodgers and Padres are once again going to duke it out amongst the top, and the Giants, Rockies, and Diamondbacks have completely fallen off a cliff over the course of the season. They are just not doing well. And then in the Central, the Cardinals had the best record in Major League Baseball at 86 and 47. A 20-game lead, just about, damn near, over the Cubs, the next closest team in their division. And then even considering where we're at, the rest of the Central can't even really get in on the wild card fund. The Cubs would be the only team, and they're a couple games behind the Padres and us, so they're out of it. You know what I mean? They got a long way to climb if they're going to climb. But the Astros, which is crazy that the Astros are this bad because, man, their offense was just fearsome. Even though Jeff Kent is now on the Dodgers, it's still kind of a fearsome offense with Jeff Bagwell and some of those guys they got at the top of that order. The Pirates are also down here with the Reds, who is our next series. We play the Reds. And then the Brewers are here at the bottom. So a lot of the worst teams in the league are hanging around this mid-50s to high 70s win-loss totals. So it's interesting to see. So... that is how the just standings stack up. And we are officially in the wild card race. You could say that we are in the wild card race. I don't know how much of a threat we're actually going to be, but we are officially in the wild card race. I don't think that's crazy to say. And then looking over next month's schedule again. So we have a road series in Cincinnati to play the Reds, and then we continue that road trip to St. Louis to play the Cardinals. This is going to be a tough 4-game set here. We probably going to get off to a bad start in this month again. Hopefully we can take that series against the Reds to start off the month, and then we can lose the series against the Cardinals. That'd be fine. And then we have 2 tough, or really the rest of the month. It's just all divisional series that are going to be just brutal here. So this Brave series is crucial. Then we have the one off day of the month that we have. We have a single off day. I don't know how we're going to make it to September, man. No idea. Then we have a 2-game set against the Phillies, our last 2 games against the Phillies this month, which is good since they're the team actually leading the division. We probably needed to play them the least. And then we have 4 games against the Mets. We really need to take those games if we could, man. If we could take those games, it'd be amazing. And then we have a home series 4-game set against the Marlins, which it's all crucial, man. It is all crucial, but I can't stress to you guys enough, for the sake of wildcard stuff, how important it is that we do well in the month of September, man. I'm anxious to actually manage and play this month because it's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts to see how it all finishes and plays out. If the pitching will hold up long enough for us to just kind of win, 14 or 15 of these games, and see if it even can. So we have another home series against the Braves right after the Marlins and the Mets, and then we finish on the road in Miami and in New York. The last game of the season is on October 1st, which I will, of course, play. Just all back-to-back games, man. How many games is this, man? What's that? 4, 8, 12, 16, 17... 18, 19? Is this 19 games in a row that we have to play? Oh my goodness gracious. I don't know if we'll make it, man. I don't know if we'll make it. So, if we have another 16 and 12 month, man, because that would put us where? That would put us at 81 and, what is that? 81, and then we have 63 losses. So, 81 and 75, I think? Or no, it doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense. 82, 75? See, I insist on doing quick math in my head, knowing full well that I am an idiot. So, don't know why I insist on doing that, but someone else do that math for me and, let me know. No, but all I was trying to do was figure that if we have another 16-win month, we could probably bet that we would be somewhere, we'd probably be because since these are all divisional opponents, man, if we win a majority of these series, like, we have to gain some ground on both the Fish and the Braves, right? You'd figure we would, but we will see how that all plays out in the next month. So when we come back, it's going to be September, or it's going to be the end of the year, actually. It's going to be the last video of the second season. We'll see if we make it to the playoffs, because if we don't, then everything's pretty much going to ride on that third season, and the series might end there, because we might get fired if we don't have a decent team here. We will look at the goals here and see if we're anywhere closer to them. So we have to maintain a 480 win percentage. We're about 10 points below that, 11 points below that. Win 110 MLB home games. We could probably do that next season. I think we will probably hit that next season, because if we win, we might be able to get to, maybe not 80, right? How many home games we got here? We got, what, 4, 8, 12? We got 12 home games here. So if we won like 6 to 8 of those, then we would still have to win close to 40 more. We might be able to do that next year. I'm not sure. And the finishing top 8 of MVP, I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. The only goal we're achieving right now is we are hitting 240 with a double-A team, so that's good, right? We will take the small things. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of work to do, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. When we get back here in the next video, we're going to be recapping September and, of course, highlighting one of these Marlins games. I'm not sure whether to do the home or the away, but I'd rather do away, but that's essentially the end of the month. So, yeah, we could do the end of month recap. No, that would be weird. To reverse it, that'd be weird. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But either way, thank you guys for watching this recap of August. The team's trending in the right direction here. We might be wildcard hopefuls or spoilers for the Marlins or Braves. So, or both. Get in the wildcard and play spoilers. So, hopefully to see you guys. I hope to see you guys in the very next video. Which should be coming up next Monday. So, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. And, hey, go Nationals.